It's GameCube Index, and the mud is about to start flying. Jeremy McGrath sponsored two motocross games. The first, Jeremy McGrath Supercross 2000 for the Nintendo 64, was released to lackluster reviews, worse sales, and was quickly overshadowed by the highly anticipated Excitebike 64. The second, Jeremy McGrath Supercross World, had the good fortune to be the only motocross game on the market when it was released. The root of the problem this time, however, remained the same. The game wasn't very good. The most important aspect of a racing or vehicular stunt game is in the controls. The graphics could be all over the place, but if the controls are nice and tight and do a great job expressing the experience, then you're in for a quality time. Unfortunately, Jeremy McGrath Supercross World had some terrible controls for the bikes. The game is set up with two options: single play, which is basically an arcade mode, and career, where you take a rider from base stats of 1 and mold and increase their stats as you achieve goals and win races. This is very hard to do though, as the bikes ride sluggishly, the timing off of jumps is extremely touchy, and landing a trick is near impossible. Turning feels nice, and I was able to loop around trees and small jumps with relative ease, but it was landing jumps and accelerating enough to keep up that ultimately left me in last place. Tricks are tough to pull off, and landing is even harder. Every time I managed to pull off a Superman, my rider crashed into the ground like a ragdoll, twitching around disturbingly. Graphically, Acclaim didn't spruce Jim's up at all while sporting it over PlayStation 2, and all of the riders look robotic, or even like they are glued to their bikes at the handlebars and boots. Everybody is sort of frozen in place as they move about the courses, which is even more evident due to the sparse nature of the courses themselves. There's not a whole lot in terms of level design, which makes for some pretty boring races. Jeremy McGrath backed away from video games for a few years following the release of Supercross World. To date, he hasn't given his name to any more motocross games. The only other title he has been attached to was a downloadable title called Jeremy McGrath's Off-Road for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, which only featured four-wheeled race trucks, no bikes. Jeremy McGrath Supercross World will leave its mark on history by being one title you can definitely skip. That is it for this week's episode of GameCube Index. If you enjoy the videos every week, consider backing us on Patreon. Even $1 a month will do a lot to support the project and help improve the experience. It's entirely up to you. Either way, please continue to show your support by subscribing, sharing, following along on Twitter at GCNdex and at GCNdex.com. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in next time when we return to the 8 Realms in Gauntlet Dark Legacy.